point. My name is Arabile Gumede. Let's give you a rundown of what the markets look like. It certainly hasn't been that easy over this last few days. But the resurgence of perhaps some hope as the world economy begins to slightly open up here and there, with a few economies around the world beginning to tick over ever so slightly and decide that perhaps the market is trying to perhaps tie itself back into the rest of the globe. There are also a few sentiments of hope that give a sense that maybe we might be reaching the end. We are getting the early testing of a drug out in the United States as well, which has released positive results. But I must emphasize that it is early testing for that vaccine as well, then out in the United States. But it is that very same sentiment that has made investors want to perhaps hedge their bets ever so slightly and perhaps expect a quicker recovery than some would have expected. I suppose the even greater recovery will come once it is confirmed that indeed the vaccine itself has been found. But as of now, we're still in those early stages. So with that being the case, we saw the market go a little bit higher as well this morning out in Asia in particular. So a big gain out there for most of the markets as well then. So that's clearly filtering through into South Africa's market as well. The JSE All Share up more than 0.8% as well, and a good day all around then for the financial counters in particular, with industrials going up more than 1%. Let's quickly check in then on how things are faring and the drive of the sentiment, whether it continues to feel like it continue for some time. And Owen Nkomo from Nkunzi Wealth joins us on the line then. Owen, thank you so much for the time. But I suppose the question becomes how long this rally goes on for. Have we perhaps just hedged our bets in many ways, counted our chickens before they hatch, in thinking that the vaccine may certainly be on its way?
Hello, Arabile. I'm battling to hear you a little bit there, but in terms of the market, the sentiment continues to be positive. The JSE is up 0.9% at this stage. Some of the biggest gainers on the day include names like MTN up 12%, trading at 57.80 so far. SABC, Sanlam, Capitec, Impala, Standard Bank, all those codes making up some of the gains on the day. Remgro, FirstRand. It looks like there's happiness all around, actually. You continue to see Naspers and Process also leading the index higher on the day.
Yeah. Oh, and the big question, I suppose, would be just around if the markets are going higher. It seems the sentiment is, and hopefully you can hear me now, is that we may be edging towards a vaccine for COVID-19. It seems that early testing out in the United States has brought that about. Has the market perhaps run ahead of itself here?
Look, I think people are tired of sitting on the sidelines and not doing anything and wondering what will happen in the future when markets and economies eventually open up. I think the rally in the market is a vote of confidence in the fact that the lockdown, as we have known it for the past few months, is over. We are starting to open up some of the economies. America has opened up 48 of their states, with all the necessary safety measures to guard against the infection rates increasing. But that remains to be seen if the reopening call is the right call or not. And I guess the markets will continue to react depending on the sentiment that we get after, we've been open for a few weeks, Arabile. If we see the yield flattening, then I believe that we could move to stage 2, 1, and absolutely open the economies again. And this is what the market is watching for. But if we open up and we start to see the infection rate go up, I think we would potentially start to see the markets coming off quite aggressively as well.
Yeah, it becomes a bit of a worry then overall, Owen, because you certainly don't want to open too early, as the notion has continuously been said and been pointed out, right? One thing that has also continued to go up is that oil price, more than $30 a barrel then there for that oil price as well at this point in time. And if I check in exactly on where it sits right now, actually, Brent crude is at $33.56 a barrel. It's actually down compared to the $35 a barrel it was at earlier on. Demand clearly coming back on board here.
Yes, it's not bad. I mean, the oil price will go up for the rest of, with the sentiment, or rather along the sentiments that the markets are opening up. Maybe, we'll see a demand for oil, but I think it's going to take a long time before the market can take up all the surplus oil that's been produced so far. But the price of oil has done well. It's sitting at $33.58 at the moment. And I believe that there's a possibility that a little bit of buying will continue in this black gold. If we hear that some conversations in the Middle East are going to happen, that will see to it that some more reduction in the production rate exists. These guys need to cut, Arabile, whether the economy is open or not. They need to reduce the price of, or rather the production quantities, so that they can support the price of oil.
Yeah, so speaking of cuts then, Owen, should we have another interest rate cut from the South African Reserve Bank? Their meeting starts today. They make that announcement on Thursday. Of course, we've now had 2.25% gone. If they decrease again, it certainly edges closer towards a half of where we stood at the beginning of the year. Should we be cutting interest rates again, and by how much?
I think we should be cutting probably by another 0.5%. But I believe that with the intervention that has happened, the governor and his team will probably opt to hold and see the impact of the current rate cut. So I do believe that they possibly might not cut interest rates. They can afford to wait. They have reduced interest rates, in my view, by a relatively comfortable margin. I think they need to see what the impact of those lower interest rates is, but they need time to do that. And I believe the good thing is that they are always ready to act. And I believe when the time is right, the guys will reduce interest rates if they deem it so. They'll just let the numbers do the talking.
Yeah, it's very difficult to let the numbers do the talking, I suppose, when you don't actually know the effect in the end when it comes to the numbers, right? When it comes to how much this has actually meant to the market thus far. So how do you preempt that? How do you predict? I mean, you can get a sense that they're predicting growth. They're predicting all of these elements as well. But how do you get to a point where you know how much is enough in terms of cutting interest rates?
Yes, look, I think the numbers will certainly have to do the talking. It's obviously a complicated conversation, I know. It's a difficult conversation if you consider the fact that, so many things need to fall in place. But that's not actually happening at the moment. There's more questions than there is answers at the stage. So that's quite unfortunate for people that will have to make these decisions. But I think the next month or so, in the next 2 months, should be telling in terms of the results of the lockdown. We know what we expect. We expect an economy that's gone down. And if we think that the firepower that's been put in the economy is not enough, I think the SAB is going to go out and activate some more. But if you look at the moment, if you look at the interest rates, the R186 bond, I was looking at it earlier. I think it was at 7.27 odd, which indicates that, the market is moving in the right direction, at least on the bond side. So lending rates will continue to be accommodative. What people just need to know, or rather what banks need to do, is to continue to facilitate uptake of these loans for people to go and, service their debt and rather, more importantly, to drive growth in their businesses and ultimately growth in the economy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would appreciate the time. Always good chatting to you. Thank you so much for that update and that market sense then as well, which has really helped us unpack the market. Look, Owen speaks the truth there. Indeed, the R186 bond is sitting at 7.25% as of now. This is down 1.4% or 0.1 basis points then. So really critical and quite important on that front. As you can tell there as well, the market is very positive, and there is a sense of positivity coming through for most indices there as well. The all share overall really doing well on that front. The financials, one of the big gainers today, though, with more than 1% gains as well for industrials and platinum miners. When you take a look at your commodities then, on the bottom right-hand part of your screen, Brent crude falling off so slightly today, but it was sitting at some stage around $35 a barrel there. Gold also sitting up $1,733 a fine ounce as well. So a good margin, really, when one considers where things have been. The local currency then trying to maintain some sense of positivity as well. So overall, though, the market is sitting slightly better. We hope that it continues to do so. Of course, the opening up of economies will certainly shift things along. Well, that is where I'll leave it for this afternoon. Of course, my colleague Nzinga Kunda joining you right after the break as well to give you a rundown of the rest of the day's top news stories. I'll be back with more market news as well tomorrow, so do stay tuned for that here on Point. My name is Arabile Gumede, and that's where the buck stops.